Let's start this explainer with a question that might just change how you see the world. How did globalization, and I'm talking about ancient globalization, actually help spread the world's biggest religions?
Okay, I want you to do something for me. Close your eyes for a second. Imagine you're standing in a marketplace 2,000 years ago. It is chaotic, it's loud, it's vibrant. You're hearing languages you can't even place. You see goods that have traveled thousands of miles to get there. But listen closer. It's not just goods being traded. You might overhear a traveler telling stories about a spiritual teacher in India, or another speaking about a prophet from Judea. This whole world is in motion.
Now, of course, no one standing in that marketplace would have used a word like globalization. That's our word. But here's the thing. That's exactly what they were living through. And that's the core idea we're going to unpack together. So let's dive into our first big point, which kind of turns our modern assumptions on their head. Globalization is not new, not by a long shot. This really reframes the whole conversation, doesn't it? We tend to think of globalization as this super modern thing, driven by the internet, fast and smooth. But the historian's view? It's totally different. It's ancient. It was incredibly uneven, full of fits and starts. And maybe most importantly, it was deeply, messily human. So if globalization is ancient, how on earth did it actually work back then? Well, it all starts with empires. You can think of them as the ones who built the stage for all this to happen. All across the classical world, you had these massive empires popping up. We're talking about Han China, Rome, the Mauryan Empire in India, and they all had some things in common: centralized governments, legal systems, all that stuff. But for our story, the absolutely crucial part is that they built roads, they built cities, and they created shared institutions. They literally paved the way for connection. And the logic here is a really simple but powerful chain of events. Step 1. Empires make things stable, they secure the roads, they protect the cities. Step 2. Because it's safer, people start moving around a lot more. And step 3. This is the kicker. Ideas move with the people. So you've got people moving, which means their ideas are on the move too. I just love this image of ideas hitching a ride, because that's pretty much what happened. These huge, profound questions, about how to live a good life, why there's suffering, what justice looks like. These beliefs didn't just appear out of nowhere. They hitched a ride on the exact same trade routes, like the Silk Roads, that were moving spices and fabrics across continents. So who were these people carrying the ideas? Well, it wasn't just one type of person. You had merchants who were sharing their personal beliefs right alongside their goods. You had pilgrims traveling to holy sites and carrying their rituals with them. And then, of course, you had missionaries who were intentionally carrying sacred texts into brand new land. But what happened when these ideas got to a new place? They didn't just erase everything that was already there. Nope. This is where it gets really interesting. Religions began to blend. There's a key term for this, and it's called syncretism. I know it sounds a little academic, but the idea is actually super simple and really powerful. It's just the blending of different cultures and beliefs. It's what happens when a new idea meets an old one and they mix together to create something totally new. This idea is so crucial to understanding this whole story. And this wasn't some rare thing. It was happening all over the place. I mean, look at Buddhism. It changed a ton as it traveled from India into China. Christianity went from this small, persecuted group to the official state religion of the entire Roman Empire. That's a huge transformation. And you saw Greek philosophy blending with local traditions all across the world Alexander the Great had conquered. Religions are alive, they adapt. So here's a really important thing to remember. We can't just imagine this as a simple straight line on a map. It was messy. Some places adopted new beliefs practically overnight, while other regions resisted those same beliefs for centuries. It was never smooth, and it was never uniform. And because it was so messy and so complex, it leaves historians with some really big questions that, believe it or not, they're still debating today. Okay, so the first big question is this. Was it all about power from the top? Did a religion really only take off if an emperor, like Constantine did with Christianity, decided to throw his weight behind it? Just how much did that top-down support really matter in the end? Or was the real engine of change coming from the bottom up? Was it the small communities, the family networks, the grassroots movements, like those early Buddhist monasteries, that were actually more powerful in the long run than any emperor's command? And here's one last question, and it's a bit more subtle. Let's think about those trade routes again.
Did they actively spread religion, or did they just create the conditions, the meeting places, the hubs, where beliefs could then take root and grow all on their own? It's a fantastic question, right? All about cause and effect.
These questions aren't just academic, though. They matter because they help us understand the world that we inherited. And that brings us to our final section. So why does any of this ancient history matter to us, right now? Well, because the religious map of our world is not an accident. The fact that Christianity, Islam, and Buddhism span entire continents is the direct long-term result of these ancient connections, these power dynamics, and the human choices made thousands of years ago. And that really brings us to the final takeaway. This quote says it all perfectly. Globalization didn't just move goods, it moved ideas that reshaped the world. That is the incredible power of connection, both back then and right now. Which leaves us with one last thought to chew on. The same process is happening right now, just way, way faster. So the question for us is, what ideas are hitching a ride on our global networks today? What beliefs about justice, meaning, and community are quietly traveling through our modern connections and reshaping the world for the generations to come?